The setting I chose is Hamburger Mary's, a gay-themed and LGBT-friendly burger restaurant that often hosts drag show performances. The restaurant was surprisingly large with several levels with tables and chairs for dining. There was a small black stage on the ground level. I chose this setting because I don't identify as LGBTQA+, so it's an experience that would be outside my knowledge. I don't have too much knowledge about the drag community as well, so a restaurant that often features drag shows would be an interesting place for me to learn more about them. Out of this experience, I was hoping I could learn more about the setup of drag show performances and see how they are done. I was also hoping to see how a restaurant can be gay-themed and LGBT-friendly. I was interested in to learn about the restaurant's atmosphere and visibility to the public. I have two close friends who identify as part of the LGBTQA community. My prior experience with the community has been supporting my friends at their events, whether it be a queer API club meeting or a casual get-together. Prior to the setting, a preconception I had was that the restaurant would have a typical restaurant setup, as a burger restaurant. I expected an environment that was more casual and less decorated. I had a stereotype of the people who would be there at Hamburger Mary's. Due to its location and the fact that it's a restaurant, I didn't expect a lot of young people to be there. I expected young people to prefer gay bars and clubs. I also had a preconception about the way people would present themselves in this setting, that people would feel more free to express their sexuality, and that may show outer appearance-wise. I understand that this setting caters to the LGBTQA+ community, particularly to those identifying as gay, not only because of the defined nature of the restaurant as a gay-themed place, but also because of the entertainment they provided. If I consider the emic or insider's perspective, the setting is a safe space for those who identify with the community. There aren't many casual areas such as restaurants for LGBTQA+ people, so this is a nice space for them to feel welcome doing everyday stuff like eating and watching a show. I would say the evidence for that perspective would be how happy and excited the other customers were during dinner when I was there. Out of respect and consideration for the people there, I did not take direct pictures or videos of them. A lot of customers were dressed in certain ways to express their sexuality with certain slogans on their clothes. The conversation was loud and expressive, with many groups laughing, which may be evidence for how comfortable they feel in this safe space. Also, seeing as there were several gay couples in the restaurant who were openly expressing their affection by holding hands and kissing, it shows that this is a safe space for those dating to come and dine without worrying about backlash. Before the experience, I was excited to visit the restaurant because I've never heard of a gay-themed and LGBTQA-friendly burger restaurant before, so I was curious to see how it would be. I would say I felt uncomfortable because as someone who doesn't identify with the community, I felt terrible that I might possibly be invading the safe and exclusive spaces that were built for the LGBTQA+ community. I really didn't want to seem like a voyeur that has come to experience for a short time how it may feel to be a minority for the sake of an assignment. During the experience, I was still a little nervous because I didn't know much about the establishment, such as the best food or drinks. I also felt a little lonely that I couldn't bring any friends to enjoy the fun atmosphere together. During the drag performance, I had a lot of fun watching the performance's great dancing and rapport with the audience. The atmosphere was very positive with many people cheering, so in turn I was excited and cheering as well. After this experience, I felt really energetic, having been in a good mood from the happy restaurant atmosphere. I believe others in this setting saw me as a member of the LGBTQ community, mainly because I came alone. Had I come with friends, it might be possible that I'd follow along, but since I came alone, it appears as though I was specifically interested in seeing the drag performance, which may have others perceive me as a member of that community. I also believe that this perspective of me may appear true to others because when I was making conversation with the server, they asked if I knew any of the drag performers, which may possibly have been said due to their belief that I, having come alone, came to support my performing friends. Several neurodevelopment constructs were active during the immersion experience. One of them would be language, since I had to read the menu as well as the signs inside the restaurant to understand the information. I also had to quickly analyze and pick up certain slang words and ways to describe the drag performers by the way the workers spoke. Another neurodevelopment construct that was active was attention, since I was constantly observing and analyzing my unfamiliar surroundings for hints on how I should speak and behave. Social cognition was also active because I was talking with the server and also being conscious socially of how I may be perceived by other people. I actually got to talk to some people who were sitting next to me, and we talked about the drag performance as we waited for it to start, so I did get to socialize with other customers. From this assignment, I learned how precious and important it is to have a casual place where LGBTQA+ identifying individuals can come to relax and dine. I realized that there's not a lot of casual everyday spaces for the community, so couples looking to eat dinner out may not have safe spaces. I didn't realize that I take such spaces for myself for granted. I also learned a lot of slang that one would use in drag performances and learned how these performances work. I believe my experience in this setting will influence my future educational practices by creating inclusivity in all everyday activities, making sure my classroom is always a safe space for all of my students. I will make sure to have certain rules that do not tolerate bullying or exclusion. Students who announce that they identify as a certain sexuality or gender will always be treated equally in my classroom. I will place students in groups so we can foster a strong sense of community and care for one another.